My name is TOLU ADEGBIE. I'm the Executive Chairman of Ondo State Revenue Service, and you are heartily welcome to this edition of Pay Your Tax. On this edition, we shall be looking at the salient points in taxation in Ondo State and some other issues around our collection and administration. Our talking points will center essentially around how year 2022 went, what we were able to achieve, the challenges, and some other issues that came up in year 2022, leading to how we closed the year. Thank you and welcome.
Akéèti arákùnrin ọdún ayọ̀ Olúwarótìmí Akérédolú.
Akéèti Akérédolú.
No doubt, the Oluwarotimi Akeredolu administration is daily delivering on its promises to the people of the Sunshine State. Dividends of good governance of reaching citizens in forms of road construction across the state, attraction of solid industrial base for the state, potential utilization of diverse resources of the state, creating jobs through agri value chains, making schools in the state accessible as well as conducive for learning, encouragement of community projects through government funding, and bringing smiles to the faces of the public service workers again through regular payment of salaries and rehabilitation of moribund boreholes in the state, to mention a few. Hulala! Akiti is working. Governor Akeredolu is working his top. The sun is shining again on the lives of the people of the Sunshine State. Having done this much for the good of all in Ondo State, the Oluwarotimi Akeredolu administration says more life-changing projects for all citizens are underway. Therefore, encourage the state government by paying your tax today for all nooks and crannies to become heaven of comfort for all. Pay your tax, as tax brings development. This message is sponsored by the Ondo State Internal Revenue Service.
Akéèti Akérédolú. Akéèti.
For us to reflect on year 2022, I would say 2022 was probably one of our most difficult years. That was our intention. It was supposed to be a very straightforward year. We were given the highest target so far as of that year, 30.9 billion. We had marshaled all our strategies. We looked at where we're going to get money from. We had a couple of outstanding things to resolve with some companies in terms of back duty. And then we had some new areas that we're looking at. We had HOCOs that was just started January. We had a lot of promises. But life happened. And then from January to June, we didn't meet our budget for the first time in 5 years. But we didn't stop. Between July and December, we were able to turn it around. We were able to resolve all those issues, and the funds were able to come in sufficient numbers that at the end of the day, we ended up having a landmark year. You know, from the throes of despair by half year, by the end of year 2022, we pulled it off. We were given a target of 30.9 that we're not sure we're going to achieve, but we ended up achieving actual of 32.2. So for us, year 2022 was tough, but it ended up being a landmark year in terms of revenue collection, revenue generation, and revenue administration in Ondo State. In addition to that, we started something new in year 2022. We came up, one of our strategies for year 2022 was that Ondo State Internal Revenue Service and government generally sometimes rent offices. So we decided that we are going to have a 3-year strategic plan where we will build all our offices and move out of rented government properties and move to government buildings, so that we can now equip those buildings, you know, and keep on adding facilities to those buildings in all the local governments where we are. And we started last year. We were able to build, finish a building in Ifon, in our local government, capital headquarters, Ifon. We finished our building in Ifon. We were able to finish our building at Ondo local government, headquarters at Igbekebo. We moved in also last year, you know, in the midst of all this. Now For 2023, we are moving to Leoluji, you know, and then we are also we've just completed Bolonduro full renovation. But in terms of movement, I think last year, Ishua, we were given a property by the local government in Ishua, so government owned. So we're able to renovate it, complete it, you know, make it just like here. I'm sure we showed the prototype of the building that we're talking about in those local government. And then, so 2022 was really a landmark year. We designed that strategy and were able to start the implementation, and it was successful. And then we continue with 2023 until we completely move out of rented apartments, and all properties where Odirs is situated will be government buildings. So we won't pay rent anymore. Well, the tax profile and strategy of Mr. Governor Arakuni Odunayo Akeredolu, SAN, CON, and Doctor, was actually a very simple one. He knew when he came in, he knew what the problems were, and he had a very clear vision of where he wants to go. Our target at the beginning was to move from 724 that I met it, 700 million that I met it. In the first year, move to at least from 700 million a month to about 1.2 billion a month. And then grow rapidly over 6 years, 7 years, to close at about 3 billion, which he thinks is sustainable for the size of Ondo State. And that's the race that we've been running. And I'm happy to inform you that since we started this race, we've been progressing year on year, increasing year on year. And last year, which is the fourth year of the race, it's supposed to be a 6-year race, fourth year of the race, we're already at 2.7 billion a month. So we're hoping that we'll complete the assignment of getting to 3 billion on a monthly basis in the next 2 years. So this vision had been crafted from day one. So we're just executing the vision. And the reason why sometimes Mr. Governor speaks about his legacy is because it's one thing for you to grow and drop and grow and drop. It's another thing for you to grow on a sustainable basis. So the sustainability is the key thing. It's what is sustainable that can be equated to your successor. If it's not sustainable, then there will be an issue. And that's why what we're doing here is to build a stable revenue generating system, administration. We put the structures in place. We know who the taxpayers are. We know how much they're supposed to pay. This year we've introduced data. I'm going to talk about 2023 later. We've introduced data to help us drive the process and cement the collection. So we've done a lot, but all with one focus. We are going somewhere. And when we get there, we should not at any point in time regress. It should not be a fluke. It should be something that was carefully designed and crafted and achieved, just like we did for the Revenue House, where we are today. So I believe that the philosophy of or the vision of Arakuni, Mr. Governor, is so clear, and we have been executing. And I think that's what is giving him the confidence that, by the time I finish my tenure, I should have gotten to where I want to be, if not more. And we are privileged to be the instruments that is using to achieve that vision.
Hooray! Adegbiye. Payment of taxes and rates is now made easier and simpler in Ondo State through the Ondo State Internal Revenue Service. One-stop shop model tax stations in 2 different locations in Akure State Capital. Visit Oyemekun Tax Station within the premises of Women Bank PLC on Oyemekun Road, Akure, or visit Alagbaka Tax Station within the premises of UBA PLC, Alagbaka, Akure, to pay your taxes and rates into Ondo State designated revenue accounts without any stress. For further inquiries, call the following number: 0188397000 or 09284770004, or send WhatsApp messages to this number 08104864804. Contact us at odirs.ng or info@odirs.ng. Also, chairman at odirs.ng. Our website is www.odirs.ng. Pay your tax as tax brings development. Ondo State Internal Revenue Service announcer.
Okay, so as I said earlier, one of the projects that we started in 2022, I think it was in one of the first assignments of Mr. Governor at 2022. I think January 4th, he launched HOCOS. HOCOS is Home Owners Charter of Ondo State. This was a program that was designed in such a way that for you to collect your CFO, there will be the plan approval. Once you pay a fixed sum of money, you buy a form, fill the form, submit a document, pay a fixed sum of money, usually 150,000 for one plot of land, private residence only, no commercial. One plot of land, and then in 60 days, guaranteed, you get your CFO. I mean, it was like a dream for a lot of people because they know how it used to be normally, but this was like a bonanza. It was an extraordinary thing, and we launched it. We had a lot of hopes that were going to generate billions from HOCOS. I remember when we started this program, I said it was a tough 4-6 months. Well, HOCOS was one of those reasons why it was a tough 4-6 months. We thought we were going to rake in billions from HOCOS within the first 2 or 3 months, but it didn't happen like that. HOCOS did not pick up until middle of the year. People took forms, but they didn't return. Some returned, they said they were skeptical. Then some saw the CFO that the new digital CFO that we started issuing, and they felt maybe this was not proper. But towards the end of the year, everybody kind of just, well, let's see what we can do. This thing looks real. With a lot of stakeholder engagement, with a lot of talking, with a lot of advertisements, a lot of people have been like, look, this thing is real. Especially for people who are abroad, who will need to do BVN for them to be able to get TCC. They email us, we email them back. Once they find out that, oh wow, this is real, they keyed into it. So HOCOS actually contributed significantly to our revenue of last year. I think they did more than 100 million in terms of revenue generation. So that's not bad at all. That's not bad for a fresh product. I think they tried. If we look at Odirs, the way we have changed the face of revenue administration, one of the things that we decided to do was that we are going to follow global best practice in tax collection. And that starts from the way we're structured. We've structured ourselves in such a way that we can implement, we can hear from people, get feedbacks, we open channel of communication with people. And generally, the way we interact with our taxpayers. Taxation is one field where everything is governed by law. So once the law is there, just follow the law. Before now, in some areas, you find tax authority going to those areas, distraining them, taking their goods in lieu of outstanding tax payments without a court order. And then even when the law changed in 2011 and says you can no longer do that without a court order, the activities of the tax authority did not change. They are still going out doing all that. But since the government of Ondo State came in, we stopped all that. Now, if you want to do anything, you have to go and follow the law. which is in line with global best practice, you know, and do it by the book. And that's what we're doing now. So we still carry out our distrain, but now we take people to court. And then we take it to court, the court will rule. And most people, once they see that there's court involved, they quickly want to come and settle. So that has helped us a lot. So going through the official route, following global best standards, has actually helped us to increase revenue, as opposed to not following it and just doing what we used to call jungle justice, raw power of the tax authority. Remember, it was in the initial law, but the law was changed. So what we're just doing now is, and Mr. Governor is a lawyer. So we're just aligning with Mr. Governor and his principles and his positions. Do everything by the book, do everything according to the law. And that's what we're doing. And as long as we're doing that, we believe that we are conforming to the global best standards in terms of taxation, which is do everything according to the law of taxation. Topics I'd like to talk about when I look back at 2022 is our Appreciation Day for Okada riders. You recall that in 2021 we had a give back day for Okada riders, where we called them and distributed things like generators and camping gas for just a few people. I think about 40 people in Akure, about 6 people each in about 2 other local governments, Ondo West and Owo. But in year 2022, we did that in year 2021 because it cost 750 million in terms of collection from them. But in year 2022, we actually crossed 1 billion. So because we crossed 1 billion, we felt, no. This time around, we have to show these people, group of people, that we appreciate them. Now, remember, the principle of taxation does not confer any direct advantage or direct benefit on anyone, because all taxes you pay is supposed to go into a general pot, which is used to finance roads, bridges, hospitals, which we all use. But we have a policy in Odirs. There are some people who will do exceptionally well, especially when they're in a large number, and then they're in the informal sector category that we want to motivate. So the Okada riders fall into that category. They're actually the biggest in that category. And we said I want to motivate them. Last year, we decided to go all out. In Akure, we distributed the start price of an Okada, free insurance, helmets, free registration of the Okada for the first as a grand prize. Then we had so many other prizes: 50 kg bags of rice, 20 kg bags of 25 kg bags of rice, 10 kg. We had oil, groundnut oil. We had Indomie. We had packets of Coke, cartons of Coke, soft drinks. We had a lot. In Akure, we give out. We had poundo yam. We had all kinds of things. In Akure, we give out almost 600 individual gifts. In Ondo West, the same thing. In Owo, the same thing. We now moved out to other areas. We went to Akumba. We went to Ore, which we had not done before. We went to so many other places. I think last year we went about, year 2021 we did just 3 local governments. Last year we went about 8 local governments. And we distributed them massively. I know in Ondo West, we distributed at least, individual people got prices were almost 250. That many. So this is about showing appreciation. These are a group of people who believe that, well, they assume that the road is just there. I don't want to say they are not too educated, because there are all graduates who are driving Okada now, unfortunately, but they believe that there should be some form of benefits for them. And we decided to do it, and we are glad to do it, because we sold the program to Mr. Governor, and Mr. Governor, being the kind of person he is, the compassionate leader, the man who, Mr. Governor is a man who understands his people. And he said, Tolu, our people will love this. Go ahead. And he approved. So with his approval, we're able to do more. than we've ever done before.
Hand over to Mr. Deputy Governor to pick the star prize, the person that will be lucky. Torí ẹ̀rẹ́ sọ tí ayédè ti dá sí ẹ̀ lẹ́nìí. So Mr. Deputy Governor, over to you, sir. Can you help us to open it and announce the name, phone number? Hold on. The lucky winner of the surprise of this year's annual event for year 2022 tí orí rẹ̀ sàn báyìí tí ọ̀kadà ilẹ̀ máa di tiẹ̀ is with serial number 171. The name is Samuel Temitope. Samuel Temitope is the lucky winner of the star prize for year 2022. Where's the score? Where's the paper? Remove it. For you to confirm before you shake the governor. AG, please, can you confirm to us that it's the same number? 1711. Yes, confirm. 1711. Okay, confirm. This is the lucky winner as confirmed by the Ondo General of the State. So congratulations. You can take the deputy governor and then we can come to the podium for on behalf of the government of Ondo State, I hereby present this key to this motorcycle as the winner of the star prize of the raffle draw for year 2022. Congratulations.
For this year 2023 now, we've already put things like that in our budget. We want to include the taxi drivers and buses this year and see if the figures justify it. Who knows what we can do for them. If we achieve a lot, if we beat last year's numbers, now that we've also started selling tickets to the buses and the taxis, if we beat last year's numbers and need to achieve some decent figures, who knows what Mr. Governor will do.
Finally, a big relief is here for taxpayers in Ondo State without an express payment of all taxes, charges, fees, and fines are now made easier through the banks approved by the Ondo State Internal Revenue Service. Access Bank, First Bank, Odirs Bank, Union Bank, UBA, Wema Bank, Unity Bank, and Zenith Bank. Others are Stanbic IBTC, Kickstone, Guaranteed Trust Bank, Fidelity Bank, FCMB, EcoBank, and Sterling Bank. Pay to the banks directly. Don't give your cash to anyone. anyone. For further inquiries, call the following number: 0188397000 or 09284770004, or send WhatsApp messages to this number 08104864804. Contact us at odirs.ng or info@odirs.ng. Also, chairman at odirs.ng. Our website is www.odirs.ng. Pay your tax, as tax brings development. Ondo State Internal Revenue Service announcer.
Dear viewers, I hope you have all been well informed on this edition of Pay Your Tax. Definitely, I believe that your best is yet to come, and we encourage you to keep paying your tax. Expect a lot more from government. So much is still coming from government in terms of facilities and what they are using your tax for. We'll see you again by the grace of God next week. And on behalf of all of us at Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, I say thank you for paying your tax. God bless you, your family. God bless Odirs. God bless Ondo State. And God bless Nigeria.